Good morning, neighbors. We're going to sing an old hymn by Charles Weigel. Oh, I love to walk with Jesus like the publicans of old, when he gathered them about him and the blessed tidings told, how he came to bring deliverance to the captives in distress, take away our every burden, giving perfect peace and rest. I will follow where he leadeth. I will pasture where he feedeth. I will follow all the way, Lord. I will follow Jesus every day. Oh, I love to walk with Jesus like the man of long ago, who had tarried by the wayside near the gates of Jericho. Jesus heard his cry for mercy, gave him back his sight that day, and immediately he followed Jesus all along the way. I will follow where he leadeth. I will pasture where he feedeth. I will follow all the way, Lord. I will follow Jesus every day. Oh, I love to walk with Jesus all the way to Calvary's brow, gaze upon that scene of suffering while my tears of sorrow flows. There he tells me how he loves me, takes my every sin away. So I follow him so gladly, lead me anywhere he may. I will follow where he leadeth. I will pasture where he feedeth. I will follow all the way, Lord. I will follow Jesus every day. Oh, sometime I'll walk with Jesus in the land of endless day, when our journey here is over and we've reached our home this day. Then I'll walk with him forever, sing his praises o'er and o'er, laugh and shout and ever tell him that I love him more and more. I will follow where he leadeth. I will pasture where he feedeth. I will follow all the way, Lord. I will follow Jesus every day. Amen. Charles Weigel, or Weigel, had an amazing testimony of how he said, I grew up in church, went to Sunday school like most of the other kids, but he said, I probably was not even worse than other boys, but I had a terrible temper. He said, once I got upset at a boy who wasn't playing right, and I took this belt and hit him in the head with it. I stabbed my brother once when we were angry and we were fighting. And it's very similar to what Ben Carson almost did to another boy. And he said, I just had a terrible temper. I'd get upset and I'd do terrible things. And one day I was arrested for my crimes, and I had to stand before this judge. And he said, I thought, imminent doom, I'm about to be sent away forever. And he said, do you have a lawyer? He said, I don't have anyone to, it's like that. And so he called out this young man and who sat beside him. And the young man spoke very calmly, sat close to me and said, I'll be here. And he said, but we have to be honest. Did you do these things? And everything that the prosecutor brought against me, I had to say, yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. And finally, my lawyer looked up at the judge and said, Father, I believe he's sorry for what he's done, and I will take on any punishment that belongs to him. And Charles Wiegel said it wasn't a court of law. It was a little old church house where I was called out for my crimes against humanity, against my brothers, against all things. I was guilty. I had to admit my conviction, and I had to make my confession. But I was able to. But God showed me mercy through His Son, Jesus Christ, and so it really made a change. And it's like I said, he went to church growing up, and that's the big thing. A lot of people, they just sit in church, but it has to be a true personal experience to know that, Lord, I'm guilty of these things, and He's the one who wrote this song and other songs as well. But I like how the song says, "Oh, I love to walk with Jesus like the publicans of old." Remember, publicans were grouped in with sinners. They were tax collectors, but they were crooks. They would take off the top. They would charge people extra. If you're rich, okay, I'm going to take as much as I can from you, and the poor too. They took what they could. But he says, "I love to walk with Jesus like the publicans of old." He throws himself in with these publicans and sinners. I'm a sinner, but I love to walk with Jesus. That's the amazing thing about Jesus. This man who was perfect, the Son of God, but the sinners were willing and loved to be around him. And because it says, when he gathered them about him, and the blessed tidings told, you guys are criminals, you're crooks. But here's the good news. You can be forgiven of these things. How he came to bring deliverance to the captives in distress, captive by sin, take away our every burden, giving perfect peace and rest. And then he talks about how he would love to walk with Jesus all the way to Calvary. That verse is one of the ones that always have struck me as I sang it. Oh, I love to walk with Jesus all the way to Calvary, Calvary's brow. Gaze upon that scene of suffering while my tears of sorrow flow. There he tells me how he loves me and takes my every sin away. So I follow him so gladly. Lead me anywhere he may. When you know that the person who you're following loves you, and we have to go through the valley of the shadow of death, he'll walk beside us and be with us. And we have to take up our cross. In Luke chapter 14, verse 25, now great multitudes went with him, and he turned and said to them, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. We cannot make excuses for what we have been and what the terrible things that we do, the things that fall short. He says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate, it's not a hate like we would say today, like, man, I just want to go around killing everybody. No, it's that lifestyle, the evil, that we're willing to lay down everything, our own life also, to follow him. He said he cannot be my disciple. He cannot follow because Jesus Christ had laid down, when Satan tempted him with kingdoms and all these things, he had to lay all these things down. Every bit of pride and self-righteousness and all these things, we have to lay them all down to follow him. And whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. You can't follow me there because that's where I am going. That's where, it's kind of like someone saying, we're going to go here. You have to follow me. I'm not going to follow you. You're going west. I'm going to go east. We'll probably end up at the same place. Well, no, we're going this direction. You've got to follow me through this and have these experiences. It's kind of, we've gone hiking a lot in my life, and you think, okay, we have to follow this trail. Because if you don't follow this trail, you will not have the same experiences. You can say, no, I'll just drive around and meet you at the end. But we won't see the same things. We won't experience the same thing. We won't sweat the same way. We won't get hungry and thirsty the same way. We won't see the same things. You have to experience these things along this trail. And because God knows the things that you have to face to get rid of in your life to get to your home to stay. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it? Lest after he has laid the foundation is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king going to make war against another king does not sit down first and consider whether he is able with 10,000 to meet him who comes against him with 20,000? Or else while the other is still a great way off, he sends a delegation and asks conditions of peace. So likewise, whoever of you does not forsake all that he has cannot be my disciple. You have to forsake all. You have to prepare yourself like an extensive hike. They're a short hike, a mile, maybe not so much, but a longer hike in the heat and the sun and the dry. You have to realize, okay, I need this much water. I need this much food. I have to prepare myself. And Jesus is saying, listen, you're going to have to prepare yourself, and you're going to have to lay down all these other weights that want to hold you back to get through the tests and trials of this walk that we're going to be on together. Salt is good, but if the salt has lost its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is neither fit for the land nor for the dunghill, but men throw it out. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Let us have those ears to hear. Because remember, especially in Jesus' time, to take these walks, there's bandits on the roads. There's, the story of the Good Samaritan. These type of things happen. But then it says, if you'll just continue walking with him, if you'll take up your cross and forsake all others and all things of this world. In verse 4, oh, sometime I'll walk with Jesus in the land of endless day. When our journey here is over and we've reached our home to stay, then I'll walk with him forever, sing his praises o'er and o'er, laugh and shout, never tell him that I love him more and more. Oftentimes, what has been my experience, if you're taking hikes with a group of people, whoever holds the map is making the decisions. Once people start getting tired and hungry and thirsty or whatever, they start kind of turning on the trail leader. Oh, I can't believe, how long is this trail? But let us not have that attitude when we walk with Jesus. Say, well, Jesus, you've led me through the fire, you've led me through the flood, you've led me through the meadows, you led me through the mountains, the cold, the heat, and all these things. But you've got me to where I need to go, to where this is blessed home. And then when I'm there, laugh and shout and never tell him that I love him more and more. Let's not be like the children of Israel on these walks and say, oh, I can't believe this is terrible. It's not good enough. I don't like this. It's too hard. People, they'd just rather kind of make up camp and just say, I'm stopping here. I'm not going any further. But let us be a people who walks all the way with Jesus. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.